Right, you did. All right, we're live with the SPL Kings team check-in, team Q&A, all that sort of fun stuff. You're right, that was during the play-in tournament, but they didn't separate it on the schedule. All right, guys, let's go over a little bit of what's happened so far in Season 9. But to do that, whether we are happy about this or not, I want to rewind to Season 8 Worlds. And I know that you guys ended up playing the Leviathans, fell out to the Leviathans, and actually in talking to them, the Leviathans seemed to think that the Kings were the second best team at Worlds in Season 8. They felt like you guys were maybe the most competitive team that they ended up going up against in that tournament. Moving forward to this year, no roster changes. You guys stuck together. So I assume with those two kind of things being said, did you guys early on know as a team that you wanted to stick together going into Season 9, sort of regardless of how Worlds ended for you guys in Season 8?
I'll answer that because I think I maybe was the closest of anyone. I think everyone wanted to stay together, apart from me, like pretty much 99.9%. I was maybe the only player that wanted to just look at my options, you know. I've been in this game long enough that I can kind of look above friendships and just look at it as what's going to give me the best chance of winning Worlds, winning as much, you know, of the SPL as possible. And so I did look and consider options, but at the end of the day, I felt that the best chance I had as a player was to stay with the Kings, and you know I'm super confident right now that we can win as the year goes on.
Very strong squad, and I feel like when we've talked to the other teams, because you know there's been such minimal roster movement in Season 9, I feel like a lot of it ends up coming back to, and maybe you guys can provide some context. I feel like most of the other teams have said, you know, everyone's sort of confident with moments of how they played in Season 8. Each individual team, you know, each team maybe had moments in Season 8 where they were playing like the best team in the league. But when it comes to roster swaps, it felt like I've heard a lot about how the Kings were maybe the earliest team that decided to kind of stick together, and not much movement sort of happened after that. Would you guys say that's relatively accurate, that sort of early on in the offseason you guys stabilized and that maybe set the tone for how the offseason and the roster swaps would end up happening?
I think so. I think people knew we were fairly tight as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, we did pretty well last year, bearing in mind what happened.
Right.
I think we were just guaranteed like top 3 the entire year, even with ping issues. So I don't know.
That's not the factor, right?
I guess
you spend most of the year with 2 people like on ping, and I think we also wanted to give it like a full year of everyone being here with normal ping and like see if we can do better or even like win some things.
Also, just the ability to spend time together as a team. I think that's like a big part of what makes a good team. And we just had a whole year basically without Jordan and Sam just like being around us. So we felt like that might help the team atmosphere as well.
So do you guys feel, I mean, I feel like, you know, usually the answer is a pretty easy yes to questions like this, particularly with ping stuff playing not live for some of you guys throughout the year last year. You only get a limited amount of time towards the end of the year. Do you feel like there's a large room for more upward growth with this team? You know, specifically maybe in the everyone's here in studio type area, maybe other aspects of your game as well. Do you feel like there are still many strides that this team can make moving forward into Season 9?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think especially in the studio. Sometimes in scrims you can like play picks and maybe they're just like scrim picks and you know you win a lot of scrims playing that character, but the way you find out if it's a good character is if you can play it in the SPL, and I feel like there's a bit of a difference in I don't know like
Discipline,
like performance, like playing SPL from home and then playing SPL in the studio. I think there's like a bit of an increase in play when you play in the studio.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think it's good to get like a whole year of that under our belt as well.
Well, looking forward to this year. Sticking with a similar roster, do you feel like as a team there's anything you want to approach differently going? I mean, you have a year of team experience last year, obviously with the LAN environment, things like that going into this year. That will change. Do you have a change to any approaches, game style, things like that you're looking forward to in Season 9, where now that you get an extra year as a team together, you can really work on these things?
Well, there's a lot to say, but not without leaking. So
Yeah.
I think to be more general, without leaking, we want to be more versatile. I think last year a lot of teams looked at us at a objective-based one-trick team, or maybe we'd look for combos in our core 3v3 and not much else, and then just like look to YOLO objectives, 50-50 them. And I think that like became our identity. And of course, like no one on our team is suggesting that we don't want to do that sometimes,
Right.
but being versatile, being a team that can do everything, being a team that can beat Leviathans against the meta picks, beat Titans in the late game and the Fire Giant Dancers, beat like other teams at drafting, beat the Dragons at drafting and flex picks. And it's like, well, I think we all would just want to be more versatile, and we don't want to be kind of a one-dimensional team.
Do you think that if you look, because in reality, the rest of the league didn't change much either. What, 3 teams? Well, the Valkyries, an entirely new roster to the league, but they played together all of last year in the SEC. Do you think with the majority of the teams remaining mostly the same, you'll see more growth on a team basis than we're used to seeing sort of year after year, where teams will blow up, totally reform? How do you think that maybe changes the competitive nature of the SPL, where now most of the teams are, if not all the teams, are really getting another full year of playing together, maybe outside of just one player here or there on the different teams?
I think it already shows with how the first split went, how close all the teams were, because most teams stuck together. There's only like very few changes and stuff. So I think it's going to progress throughout the year as well, where all the teams are going to probably stay pretty close together, and the sets are going to be hopefully going a little bit longer, not like stomps either way.
Right.
So
I think it is known for a fact when you like stay together as a team, and you know you're going to improve unless there's some like inside problems on the team or something we don't know about. But most of the time you look for an improvement, right? If you stay as a team, and I'm pretty sure it's being like seen in the first split.
Yeah, and you know the Season 9 so far has been a blast to watch. And now you guys, you've got full year's worth of exposure to these mainly the same rosters from Season 8 to Season 9. I guess the Dragons in their mid, they got Pagon now. Titans have Sot. Scarabs have Scary D, and then of course the Valkyries, and we'll talk about them in a minute. Between those 3 teams, when you compare playing against them last year to playing against them this year, do you feel like any of those 3 teams feel drastically different with just the individual roster change, whether it's play style or how you match up individually against them? Do you think the small roster changes have made big impacts across any of those teams?
I think the only team it maybe has a major difference on is probably Dragons.
Sure.
And the other 2 are pretty minute changes with how the solo kind of is.
That impacts you in the mid lane up against the Dragons. You get to go against Pagon and his brother Benny-Q a whole lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, Pagon's just got a different play style, I'd say, in God selections than last year, the Dragons mid. So it definitely has changed their dynamic out a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Variety, how about the solo lane swaps? I mean, obviously you played against SOT last year anyway, and then Scary D in the past, of course. Do you feel like the teams around those 2 players have changed at all from what you can tell in Season 9 from a solo lane perspective?
I think maybe Titans play a bit more heavily towards the solo lane now, because I think that's the time. Because I think like Salt and Scream did that last year in the Scarabs. Mm-hmm. They were pretty like solo side focused, and I think now that Salt's on Titans, they've become more solo focused as well. For Scary D, it's hard to say because he's at that league for a year. Well, he played jungle for like half the year, and then got kicked and just like chilled. But I don't think Scary is like anything special to do with how they play the game or the way they want to structure drafts or anything like that. I think he's just kind of just like plug and play player.
And we expect growth and those sorts of things from those teams. Let's look at your phase 1 so far in season 9, because there were some ups and downs. You guys, for a period of time, were I think in our eyes the best team in the league, and still one of the best, absolutely. And you go on a hot streak early on, drop a couple sets towards the end, and then end with a win up against the Valkyries. At a high level, and I know we have Masters and all that coming up, and that'll be a nice gauge for success as well. At a high level, how successful would you guys say your first phase of the year was?
First off, we did pretty badly. Like, it looks pretty bad that we were 6th and stuff, but if we beat the only Warriors, we were first seed.
Yeah, but 6 at 4 and 3.
Yeah,
as competitive as the league is.
We can say to the team, like, oh, we played bad and stuff, but we had one really bad weekend where I think we can just agree, and other teams can see, we gave the most OP drafts in the game to teams, and we was just behind the meta. Like, it wasn't even close. If you look at some of the drafts, it is just terrible. If we beat Warriors, we threw one game really hard, and I think that was on me a little bit. We played a bit of a quirky comp, but I'm glad we played anyway. It was good that we managed to play that and played it pretty well. But if we didn't throw that game and then we had 2 more games to win just one more game, we were guaranteed first seed. So It looks like the split's not gone our way so far, but I'm still pretty confident we're a guaranteed top team. The only thing that's different is like Warriors are a bit better than they were last year now, finding a bit more momentum. But I don't know, I think we've come out, we've shown a bit more versatility this year with like Clearner, like some ESET flex, like just some stuff like that. I think we're one of the best double hunter teams as well, and that can be played right now. I think Jordan's just probably the best hunter mid player. So I don't know. I think it's not looked that good, but if we look at practice and look at the way we're playing, sometimes it's still really, really good smite from us.
Yep. You guys echo similar mindset?
Yeah,
there?
I mean, it felt bad, or it feels bad, just like going from like first all the way to like 6th in like one weekend.
Right.
But I think that week was just a bit of a rough week for us because I don't think we had great scrims leading up to the 2 sets. And like Sam commented, we're a bit behind on our picks and our philosophy that week. And obviously it kind of shown since the games weren't the most competitive either set really. But we've moved past that pretty much, and we were understanding on that. And I think we showed against the Valks that we've adapted some way we think about the game, and we've solved some of those problems that we experienced that week.
I think it speaks to the competitiveness of the league that one tough weekend can shift up the standings that much. Whenever first place is 5 and 2, and then you guys further down are at 6 and 3 or 4 and 3 rather. I mean, literally one set of differential makes all the difference. And I think for fans that makes for a lot of fun competitive Smite for you guys, I imagine as well. When you look at the meta so far in season 9, would you say that feels different than maybe it's on an individual role sort of basis? When you look at how your team played the game in season 8 and how you're starting to play the game in season 9, through the scope of the meta of the game specifically, do you feel like your team meshes pretty well with the way that the game is being played, the strong characters, the momentum of the game right now?
I'd say so. I think last year, going into Worlds, we weren't really a Yamuja team. We had to ban it from both sides, first and second pick. And now teams are having...
Brutal.
I mean, sorry.
I mean, whose fault is that?
But now teams are starting to like respect ban some Yamuja from both sides as well. And I think that's just helped us be a bit more, like as Ben was saying, like more versatile than meta. We don't have to go into games specifically banning one thing because we can't play it or we don't want to play it. Picks-wise, I think all of us are playing the meta like gods. I think that the gods that are meta are like up everyone's alley of how they want to play the game, or like the type of gods that, like, for example, like a carry mage is like, or a carry DC is like the way Jordan wants to play the game. Royd likes to like have pressure in lane. Well, obviously Medusa got nerfed now, but you just couldn't get Royd.
There's one trick god.
Yeah. He's gone.
Yes. I need a replacement.
No more snake.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think the meta and the gods in the meta are like really, really good for us right now.
How about you? The rest of you guys feel the same as Variety on that?
I'd say almost deeper than that. The balance team are making a lot of changes. at an alarming rate.
It's changing a lot.
I like it. I love that they're just going kind of ham, and I think we've got players that aren't so much like the type to play 12 hours of Smite a day, but we have players that will just look at patch notes and be able to kind of analyze and understand what might get better, what nerfs to ignore, what nerfs to look at and say, okay, that's not good anymore. And I think we've got analytical players that can just look at a lot of the changes, and I think that the high-res will continue, the balance team will continue to just make big changes, especially if they feel like mixing it up or just the game isn't a perfect spot. And I think that is good for us, the constant changes. As long as a meta doesn't settle for 2 months on the same thing, that's where I think we can get pretty bored of doing the same thing and try to reinvent the wheel a little bit.
Sure.
And I do think a lot of changes is just really good for us as a team.
Good. I'm sure Biggie has a hand in a little bit of that as well, helping you guys out. Well, look, I love hearing the strategy and the X's and O's of Smite, but on the tweet that we sent out asking people to ask questions, we got 50 questions or something like that. So let's move to some fan Q&A here for the last handful of time here. I'll do my best to filter through these in real time.
Some are terrible.
Yeah, some are bad, and we're going to move right past them, but I'll do my best. So maybe you have some time to pre-vet some of these answers. There's an NBA quote from some sports show. Of every god in Smite, for one game, the fate of the universe on the line, the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You better win the game. Who are you all picking? I guess who's your maybe in a 1v1? I don't know. There's not a lot of context to this. Maybe as a team, you have one game to win, or else the world blows up.
You want Sobek, right?
Yeah. I think I can do it for I think for the team it would be Neath for Jordan, Sobek for Harry. I'd like to go Terra. Maybe Ben on the bats, maybe.
No, Snapblock Anubis for me.
Yeah.
Really?
We've got to save the planet Earth.
Yeah.
I'll be death gazing right back at them.
Oh, that's a smart man. How about you, Netroid? What are you locking in to save the planet?
OG.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And shoot arrows to everything that is in the sky. That's the lore.
How confident are we feeling that comp saves the world?
I think we're going to die.
We're going down.
Yeah.
We'll go out playing Smite just like we all want, right? That was a joke, don't worry. All right, this one is a thoughtful question, not quite as humorous. Most of you are away from home. What do you miss most from home? Family and friends excluded. Okay, and chips and cheese isn't allowed if that
Chips and cheese
applied to anyone. That was the next caveat there.
Lucas,
Oh, here we go. Let's
Lucasade Sport.
Lucasade Sport,
100%.
yeah.
That is
It's an
Number
energy
two.
drink.
yeah.
a kebab.
What is it?
Three,
A
a
A
kebab.
kebab.
That's mine.
Number 3, an Indian. Number
Oh.
4, fish and chips.
No,
5,
there's
sausage
fish
roll.
and chips here.
Just Greg's. Honestly,
Greg's, you know.
What's Greg's?
It's a brand of it's a
it's like a bakery
yeah.
kind of thing.
They
Yeah,
have
sausage rolls
They have
very
like
well.
5 in each city centre. Though. There's like one around every corner.
Right.
Yep.
They're great.
Okay.
The Premier League,
Public transport.
public transport.
Oh yeah, that's
We can
good.
still watch the Premier League, but you got to wake up at 9 a.m. to do it.
Some games start at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, I mean, just being in the stadium,
Right.
That's
Right.
right.
Right. Of course.
but not right now because Everton are.
Go
Those
down.
are ass.
They go down.
I'm gonna be in London in 3 weeks. I don't know what I'm doing there, but
Enjoy the tube.
Maybe catch a game.
is the season gonna be going on still in a few weeks? Hopefully. If it is, then maybe we will.
Should do,
A
yeah.
few weeks, right? A few games left.
It's definitely just public transport for me though. I just
You
honestly.
miss public transport?
It's so hard to explain how just good it is to just be able
Actually,
to hop on
that's
a
true.
train and go somewhere,
It
or
is,
go
yeah.
on, just walk somewhere. Even walking, I consider that public transport. Here, pavements just stop randomly.
Yeah, it is funny.
I'm
Yeah.
running into a tree.
That's so
I'm walking, and then it's just there's no pavement
You will
anymore.
just die
Yeah.
if you try crossroads.
I'm walking
Yeah.
to the gym. I'm walking to the gym for half of it. There's pavements, and then you just stop. It's like, okay, I'm walking on the side now.
Well, that's the first part of your workout is dodging cars on the way to your workout. Smart man. Netriot, a lot of these guys are obviously close to one another. Anything you miss from home, excluding?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the main things is the food. I love my country's food, and I'm a really like lover when it comes to food. I love just like picking some stuff when it comes to eating. Here I have some Peruvian restaurants, but of course it doesn't feel the same.
Sure.
So I will say as a food, obviously my family, and since COVID hit, I wasn't able to visit.
Travel and everything.
And stuff. Also, the public transport is as well kind of like big there because you can get to one place to another, like let's say cheap. Or you can walk. And the pavements don't stop. You know,
The pavements don't
randomly. So yeah. And
Yeah, you gotta hope you can find an Uber here. If you want to get anywhere, you better call an Uber, and that's about it.
Yeah.
This maybe you sort of have answered this one, Netroid. Maybe for the rest of you guys, what's the closest food you've tried that reminds you of home since you've been over here?
Go on, Sam.
Well,
Fish and chips every day.
well, we have a local place we go to, and I do like partaking in a bit of fish and chips.
Yeah.
It's not the same because it doesn't get wrapped up in soggy paper towel, but
That's a good thing when it's in a soggy paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
it's just not the same.
Yeah.
It just isn't the same. Like, there's just not a fish and chips place, but it's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
There is one up north somewhere.
Yeah, there's the only
like
one-
30, 40 minutes
Yeah,
away.
it's
like
pretty
40
far away.
minutes. I used to live like right
be
next to a
good.
fish and chip shop, so like during my summer off, like a few years ago, I used to walk down and get fish and chips for lunch sometimes.
Yeah.
But
The rest of you three from over there, you have fish and chips that you've run into that you like, or no?
I think that's the only thing that comes close. It's like I guess it's like a Mediterranean food, like
Sure.
like a kebab from there. I think that's the other closest thing that takes me home.
well, there's no like Indian curry. There's like not a lot of curry here, right? And not a lot of like Indian stuff. So I don't know.
I guess so.
Hindu man's already given me a list of things I have to go and eat while I'm there. So
I know it's not English food, but like it's just so like it's just such a part of our
Right.
culture that
Yeah.
it's like it basically is like everyone has an Indian
Right.
and a curry very often during the year.
yeah, Ned, I mean, I know you said you've tried some. That's not quite the same. Is there anything that's gotten pretty close for you?
The closest was like ceviche, which is like a fish dish.
Yeah.
And of course, you cannot like mess up a fish dish, but that was like the closest.
Be surprised.
That was like the closest I got it.
Yeah.
But from 1 to 10, I will say like it was a 6, 7. So that's the closest.
That's could be worse.
We'll get
could be a lot
there.
better. So nobody here cooks then, I take it, or
I cook.
We could.
I
I
know.
think
to a close degree. Like, does that
Oh,
like to like home
Oh,
food?
he does.
Oh, he does.
Baked beans every
when I
day.
first got here, my parents sent me a package of like they sent me like 30 odd cans of baked beans from the UK.
Yeah.
It was like 64
Are you still
beans.
working through them? You still got them?
I'm almost done now, actually.
Yeah.
That's all
Because
problem.
there's like an international section in Publix that you can go and
Yeah,
buy them
right.
from, but it's like $3.50 a can, and in the UK they cost like 50p. So if you bulk buy them and send them through the post, they're actually cheaper.
It's because they know you're their market. You'll go and you'll buy them for the $3.50 cans.
Because the branding looks like it's from the 1960s over here. So I won't do it.
Or where the can from.
It's like, I appreciate it, but I'm not going to spend $4 for beans. He's not here to defend himself, but does the fact that Biggie is a ladies' man cause problems in the team environment?
All the time.
All the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
yeah, it's all about wanting to go do something, and it's I've got to meet this girl tonight. And it's like, okay, I guess we can't enjoy time as a team together anymore.
Australian model, that's what I call it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, if you're watching, Biggie,
Love you.
come on.
Love you, Biggie.
We do love you, but... if the Camelot Kings were no longer an option and you had to rebrand next season, which of the other 7 teams would you choose to rebrand into?
That'd be Valkyries for me.
Yeah, I think I wanted Valks.
Yeah, we were when we were like solidified as a team.
Yeah.
We had a meeting before Ben was like joining Discord and like speaking to us, and we were like, I think Valks was our option, right? And then Ben came in and just convinced us to take Camelot Kings.
Thank
Yeah,
goodness.
it was
by the
pretty.
way.
It was really close to
We
being
would be
Valks.
we would be 8th 2 years in a row. You know how awful that would have been.
Well,
You're welcome for the curse being avoided.
We'd be 8th 1 year in a row, and then we wouldn't be a team the year after.
No one would expect the Camelot Kings to be 8th. Like, no, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, it doesn't sound right, you know? But as far as like naming and like logos and stuff, you guys wanted Valks?
For me.
I'd say Valks or the Warriors, I think.
Warriors
And
are pretty
their
cool.
logo is pretty cool.
I think I'd want the dragons if their dragon didn't look like so skimpy. Like
Like
a
a
little noodle.
Little noodle dragon.
Yeah. that you could crush under your boot. Like, if
baby
they
dragon,
made
yeah.
a more magestic or strong dragon than
Alpha.
Alpha dragon, yeah.
Right.
It's more like the lame dragons.
Look, they're baiting you in. You know, you're supposed to not. They don't intimidate you like based on their logo, and then
And then the fire.
right?
Okay.
This one's for you, Twig. Which of your teammates do you want to see pick up the dual grind?
I think Royd, because non-stop, I will try to suggest things that I've learned from duel games in Conquest and SPL, and most of the time it's absolutely terrible. But I think there's like some like lessons, matchups, items, I guess, or just ways you play that I think like you could learn a lot from duel, and I think Royd would also just be maybe like the best duel player if he like actually tried. But like, I mean, that doesn't even mean anything. Being good in duel and being good in the SPL as an ADC, you just have no. Well, it's not no, but like, don't have enough of a connection for it to matter that much. I'm not trying to persuade anyone.
Who won the 1v1s last year with all you guys? Do you remember?
It was
Harry.
It was Harry, right?
Harry.
I lost.
Harry.
Yeah, I won.
I think you got lucky or something in crit or something.
Oh.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
No, I won the solo lane one.
You won the on-her one as well.
You won the Anho one, the Kings one.
No, the Anchor was banned.
No.
The first Anchor we did.
Oh, production just let me know that Netrioid won, but he bought beads when you weren't supposed to, or something like that.
So you cheated.
Cheating.
Cheating is always, huh?
Like,
So asterisk on that. Who is the pickiest eater?
Sam.
That was easy.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, well, I'm not going to play the card, but you guys know.
Okay, keep the card in the pocket.
That's right.
Diabetes.
Who's trying to get out of going to the gym the most?
Royd.
Oh my goodness, so quick. The rest of you guys go together to work out? Or when you can dodge traffic?
I go with Ben sometimes, and I go with the other boys sometimes.
Yeah.
The SPL is on the upswing when it comes to going to the gym. It's pretty.
It really is.
Yeah.
I see the Bolts. I see Jake at Lifetime just down the road like all the time. It freaks me out. The guy's really strong now.
It goes hand in hand with gaming for sure.
I think it does.
It's like really, you need the muscles to move the mouse, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Right, your skill shots just hit so much better when you got muscles to move around.
That's what I was saying.
It's like, I can't move the mouse.
This is I'll ask it because it made me kind of question it, but now I'm wondering if I'm questioning just what the question is at all. What emotions do you feel when you're playing the game very well? I imagine there's a lot of happiness in there. Maybe more so the second part. What do you give up to compete? So if you talk about playing in the SPL, what do you feel like you give up in other parts of your life? Not that we want to focus on the sad, but...
Free healthcare.
Yeah, we threw that in the bin.
Yeah,
free healthcare.
big retweet.
That might be the best like overall answer you could like say.
That's a good maybe not diplomatic, but that's a good all-encompassing answer.
Yeah.
It's just a safety net, and it's just like, I mean, it's not technically free because you pay taxes and stuff, but it's hard to describe how comforting it feels that you can just go to a place and get free point of service healthcare. To me, that's the scariest thing about this country is like, I don't know, like just.
If the pavement runs out and you get.
That's the biggest worry for me here. It's just, it just doesn't feel as safe.
Otherwise, probably social life, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well,
You know, we barely go out. Like we don't do anything.
Like
at home,
hermits.
we do stuff.
Well, even because now, I mean, and I've noticed this as well. I mean, really anyone who works in the esports building, whether it's players or production or our staff, since like when COVID was first happening and we started broadcasting on weekends, it didn't necessarily feel like you were missing that much, right? Because nobody was doing anything anyway. And now that stuff is starting to open back up a little bit, and you do all the weekend work, and you're coming in, and you got games and scrims and stuff like that, it does feel like you lack a little bit of that sometimes.
Actually, there's a weird thing too. Is like the biggest. It's just the schedule. Like before, when like in normal life in school, and like when you go just work, you have 5 days where you work and 2 days off. It's like a normal schedule. But when you're doing esports, or even when you're casting and stuff, that difference between the week and the weekend doesn't exist. Like, especially there's not a difference. It's just what's that week going to happen? Like, am I working?
It's like Monday is as close as it gets to like
A day
your
off.
day off. Like it's kind of your weekend.
Yeah.
But it's like you're already thinking about the next week's games.
Yeah.
You're already thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow in scrims a lot of the time. It's like it is weird, not to have like
A schedule.
a traditional weekend.
Also, if you're a family guy, like I like hanging out with my family and stuff. And when you have like a normal, let's say you're a student, you can like get off school and maybe hang out with your family and stuff, go out. So that's something I really like miss and something I give up to play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's goods and bads to all this. It's just another way of looking at these things. Didn't want to skip that. Has Baron Jungle hit the scrims yet? If you're willing to say yes or no.
I'm going to say not my scrims. Hopefully it will be hitting scrims.
That's on you.
That's a warning to all the other SPL teams, is that there will be maybe a Baron Jungle arriving if it's the thing. I don't know.
Maybe Baron Flex, maybe 5-man Baron Flex.
5 men, yeah.
See, I'm a big Baron proponent. I actually like to think that I was the one who got Baron buffed, the ultimate buff. I was complaining about it so long because I love that god and I didn't know how to buff him. I just kept asking for him to get buffed and they came up with that. So if anyone likes Baron, you're welcome. What's your favorite color? Quick and easy.
Blue.
Turquoise, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
edgy.
That's edgy.
Okay, dude.
Green.
Probably just black.
Retweet on
Okay. Darkness.
I like black.
I mean, it's not to be
So
a
like,
it's not to be a golf.
Black's not a colour.
what's more edgy, turquoise or black?
Well, it's not,
Edgy, probably black.
It's not like
right?
I'm kind of being like an emo or a goth or something. I just think it just goes well with a lot of things. You know, it's a pretty standard colour.
Anything can match with it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just what shall I wear with this colour? Black.
If you had to pick the first person on your team that would rage quit a board game,
Sam.
Board game,
Sam, because he's done it before.
you know what's funny is the last part of this question is why is it
When have I
Sam?
rage quit?
So
You rage quit. I've seen you rage quit.
We
before.
played Monopoly loads on before I moved there. I didn't quit, did I?
Sam's mental game is
Weak.
very weak.
His biggest downfall.
Yeah.
That's just not true.
He's kind of he's a very good competitor and gamer at a lot of things until the mental side kicks in, and then he's got no chance.
This is just wrong, boys. This is wrong, boys.
Or I skipped one asking about something about him finally hitting a hammer or something like that on Fafnir.
Oh my God.
What do the Kings do to dismantle Sam's ego to ensure that he finally hits a Fafnir hammer?
Don't give me compliments. Don't be nice to me. Don't speak to me. You know.
Yeah.
I'm
Lock
out,
him in his room.
I'm out of my room sometimes. Yeah.
My goodness.
You're like
these,
Harry Potter. It's like that.
these questions
Go
are
under the
going in on
stairs.
you, Genetics. I'm sad. How often does the team just mute Sam or filter out his ideas? Is the next question.
We haven't. Good idea.
Brutal.
That's a good idea.
I did retweet the post saying, guys, please ask questions, and about
Right.
expectedly trolled.
If you were to get stranded on an island, who on the team would you want to be stranded with?
Biggie.
Yeah, Cronny Curtis.
I could just jump on his back and him carry me around everywhere.
Oh, he would do everything. It would be great.
Smart.
We'll be stranded on an island and it turns into a city.
Makes it into a town.
I mean, Curtis kind of looks like Tarzan a little bit, so I reckon he'd be able to build some structures and stuff.
Sam Strickland says Biggie.
I think everyone would say Biggie.
Yeah.
He's just such a carry project.
Yeah.
That's what you want in a coach. Someone you can be stranded on an island with.
Yep.
I'm going to filter this word, but I think it's a funny question. Who's got the best butt on the squad?
Biggie.
But
Pop.
Biggie.
Really?
Harry.
No, it's not even close.
Not
I'm telling
even
you,
close.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I've looked at his butt a lot. And it is juicy.
Protruding.
yeah, has to be Biggie then.
Slappable.
I think he's the only one in the gym that does that exercise where you push your leg out and do your arse as well.
The glutes.
Yeah, the
He
old
does-
glute
he
press
does that
or whatever
one,
that's
so-
The
called.
glute press.
I don't know what it's called.
It might be called glute press.
That one, yeah.
All right, this one is a little bit more unique. I don't know how many of you guys are like real ranked grinders.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Are there
I
any
love
ranked
ranked.
players that you've seen making a good impression / name for themselves?
Sam could probably answer that.
I don't play a lot of rank, but
Oh.
Just a couple hours a day, maybe 6, 7.
that Why God's Only guy is pretty good. No. It's a tough question.
Is it no gank Omar?
It's definitely not No Gank Omar.
No, but no Gank Omar has asked like 12 of these questions. So
Yeah. It'll be the AMC main. What's his name?
Oh,
Sizik.
man.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
Sizik.
an
Oh,
up and coming goat for sure.
Okay.
Auto speed. He's just, I don't know, it takes a special kind of mental to pick the same thing over and over again, do the same thing over and over again. And he's good at it. He's
yeah, where do we land on like one tricking?
Oh, I think it's so good for the game. It's so healthy for the ranked scene.
I think so as well.
There was a guy called Appa who used to like completely
Oh, yeah,
main
Willix.
a Willix.
Willix, yeah.
And it's just so good for the game. It makes like the queues more fun. You can like play against it one game, ban it the next,
And he's gone.
and then you just watch them walk around clueless for a whole game before they get to play a Willix again. And it's just good because you get like they are just so much better at that, like one specific or like 2-3 gods compared to the others, and I think it's just great for the game and it's good for the scene.
Yeah. There is one mid laner, but I've forgotten his name. He's in your stream too. I played him quite a lot on my Smurf, but I forgot his name. But he's pretty good.
Brilliant.
That guy. Yeah, that guy.
He knows who he is.
He's alright.
I forgot his name.
Nice guy.
My brain's going blank.
Yeah, quality dude.
I'm really sorry. I forgot his name.
Well, look,
He's
it feels
listening
like
to
just a couple years ago we were talking about awesome Jake 408 and that how he was some ranked kid who suddenly made it into Smite, and
I don't think people rated him when he was a ranked player, though, right? Wasn't he a bit of a meme player before he got picked up?
People liked him though, or people thought it was fun how he played,
That's the
Fun.
thing.
or
and look,
hated it.
the
That's not
SPL
like
has broken him. I haven't seen tier support in 2 years.
True.
That's-
Yeah, very true.
I remember a Daji support like that he used to run a lot.
Osiris too.
This is so terrible.
I have to imagine this is like a guy or a user trying to defend themselves in an argument. Is overcapping on stats as bad as people make it out to be?
No.
Depends on the stat, right?
Yeah, I think.
It depends on items.
No.
Yeah, obviously it's inefficient, but I think a lot of
depends
the
on the stat.
time it doesn't like cooldown is I think the most
Overstat.
oversaid one where people like buy breastplate or whatever for the like power spike and the like defense and cooldown spike that you get, and then it's not bad to get like Spirit Robe, Genji's, Mantle of Discord for what they give you, not for the cooldown. Then at the end of the build, they say you overcapped. But the reality is you had a really good curve in like terms of item spikes and how strong you were.
I think the main thing is the passives you get from the items more than like you're overcapping on the cooldown or overcapping on like you can't overcap on flat pen anymore, but you used to be able to overcap flat pen and then it wasn't even that big of a deal because it was so good. But yeah, it's mainly about the passives for the items rather than the stats.
Good. I can defend myself now. I can say you guys agree with me. Who is your favorite F1 driver, all time and current?
Corin probably Leclerc.
Yeah.
So handsome
Having
as
a good
well.
year.
I like Norris.
Yeah, Lando's cool.
Nozza. Big Nozza.
My favorite is of all time is Kevin Magnussen, who's never been a champion or anything like that, but I believe in him.
He puts in a shift.
Yeah. Up the Haas.
Is that the Haas legend, Kevin Magnussen?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about having to wake up early. You have to, well, I guess depending on where it is, some of those races you have to get up really early to watch.
Yeah, it was like 9 a.m. Sunday, right?
Tough.
The Italy one.
And the one before that was like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? So it just kind of switches.
Right. Yeah, that was great. Falling
It is in
asleep to
Miami
the start
next
of a
week,
race.
so-
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to a race? I feel like those would be a lot of fun to go to.
I went to one when I was younger. I went to Silverstone.
Really?
Never knew that.
Well,
Jealous.
Miami's next week, so
We're off.
When
lost on purpose.
Jordan was a team, the yellow F1 car. That's when I went there, but it's a while ago now.
Many moons ago. I didn't even know what that sport was, I assumed back then. Who's the best pickleballer on the team? Are a lot of you guys pickleballers?
So he's
probably Biggie again, man.
yeah,
Biggie.
it is
My
Kaz.
goodness.
It is Biggie.
He's just naturally gifted at all just sports. He just picks it up so fast.
We went bowling yesterday. First
First go strike.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think he finished on like 150 odd points.
If I break 100 in bowling, I think it's a good day.
Yeah,
Like, if I get
I
triple
agree.
digits, I think that's great.
Yep.
But
Who's the best at pickleball on this table?
It's Ben.
It's Ben.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Probably.
recently I've had a pretty good win rate against Curtis specifically too, but he is probably overall better than me.
I've quit recently, so I'm off
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah, Sam's had an absolute stinker.
I used to do like a little quirky serve where I used to like spin the ball and drop it, and then I complained about Jordan serving because I thought it was illegal, And then after looking at the rules,
irony.
it turns out my serve was actually illegal.
He was moaning for a whole day that I was serving illegally,
that,
but
just-
he's been doing it for weeks.
It's the mentality.
It's the
after
mental, like,
Sam
it
gets
was
told
my
that
identity
He's
to
been
do-
cheating for like 6 months or something.
You have to reinvent your whole game.
And therefore,
I just quit.
I have not gone back since.
His mentality of 4 months of cheating.
You're telling me the most likely to rage quit a board game, rage quit pickleball?
I wouldn't say rage quit, I'd say calmly left.
outrage.
Outrage.
Pickleball is
I
also
got
like
you.
a big SPL thing. I feel like everyone's playing pickleball.
Yeah, that's true.
Mifflin invited me once, and I said no, and I've not gotten invited.
It's a
again
terrible
since.
name. It sounds like just the name sounds cringy, but
Also, the game looks cringy until you're starting to play it.
Yeah.
it's hard. Yeah,
And that's important. You gotta look cool while you're playing it, right?
Seriously.
the glove and the glasses and
Oh.
the custom pickleball paddle and everything.
Yeah.
It's so lame.
Do you have to wear
No.
goggles or whatever?
People should though.
Some people wear gloves, but you just think, yeah, come on,
Right.
get out.
Well, when you're out there running around, slips out of your hand, protecting from injuries, I assume. Maybe. That's my
Injuries
best
of
guess.
pickleball.
Who's the biggest hype man on the team? Like, if one of you makes an insane play, who gets the loudest about it?
It's me. It's not even close.
If there's one thing the Kings lack is a hype man. The amount of plays that I see that people make, especially like I think Royd is kind of a like, and Harry, they're both like kind of what's the word, turn up players. Like they're both, they make hype plays, and the crickets that I hear in scrims.
I'm offended by that. I'm offended by that.
You should watch scrims back. You saying you're the hype man is pretty out of touch.
Compared to you guys,
I think I can be complimentary. I'll never be like, wow, that was so sick, you know? I'll never ever be like that. That's just not my personality.
Jithins, get the comms on. Get the comms on right now.
But I think like
Look at him
for
cycle.
how many hype and like sick plays I see on this team, the crickets that I hear is
Yeah. The
Lot of
thing is with me
crickets.
though is like, when I say a compliment, I mean it.
yeah.
You know I'm really thinking, oh, that's it.
If Harry says, "Oh, nice man," that means like the world to me, because it's like I know
So
he
few and
means
far
it,
between.
They just don't
and
respect me
I
enough.
haven't heard it for a good like couple months, you know. Like, oof,
I just think-
did well
And you can ride that for another few months, right?
for sure.
If you guys get first blood, I'm always like, nice guys, nice. But when we get first blood, I mean,
Nice.
You can say it for yourself, right?
Nice, Sam, nice.
I'm after this.
Sam gets excited whenever I like kill an opponent with one auto. He says, "Oh, nice auto, Roy!" I'm like, "Oh, I just hit an auto."
That's good. I think maybe Dark Horse Hype Man over there. I think he's
But he's the hype.
They're just the haters. Royd knows.
right knows. The duo lane's got to figure it out.
I'll upload a video soon of scrim clips, and you'll see.
This is good. The truth will come out, right?
Yeah.
Is there any advice you would give to someone who wants to try getting into ranked for the first time?
Don't.
was
That's
wondering if
the
that would be
best
the
I
answer,
that's
right?
the best I can give, honestly.
that's not-
It's not good for the mental, man.
That's
I just say
wrong.
play meta gods. Don't care if you're losing. Don't care if you're feeding. Just play your own game. Be ready to just. A good tip would be if you actually think like what people say on your team bothers you, just mute them. Just like
Yeah.
and don't even let them have the chance to get under your skin. Just mute them from the bat, and that's like the best off the bat. If that's what you care, don't care if you're feeding. Don't care if you're having a bad game. Play meta picks or just like gods that aren't just straight like gonna savage your team, your team's comp, and then and don't get in your head about it.
Yeah, that's
Chill.
something when I used to stream, people will always come to my chat and say like, I've been like feeding most of my games and stuff, and I was like, you don't have to like worry about it, just focus on yourself. Like people will always ask me, how do you not feed? Like how do you know? But even me, like when I was playing, I will end up a game like 0 and 10.
Yeah.
I was just laughing about it.
It happens eventually, right?
Yeah, I do have one thing. Just don't be a F7 warrior. Well, yeah, don't be an F7 warrior. If the boys, if the boys want out, let them out. Let them free.
Stop keeping me hostage.
The mental will break, right? Otherwise. Genetics, I feel like you've been getting ragged on a little bit. So I'll ask you this
Just a
question.
constant, honestly.
I'll ask you this question. How did Genetics get so hot and sexy is the actual question.
To him, it should be us that answer it, right?
That's a great question. I mean, if you guys have an answer, then by all means.
I think the beard does a lot.
Yeah.
Sam, really, it's just a hot feature, really.
Yeah.
I'd argue that 45 pounds in weight loss last year from a medical condition probably helped a little bit as well. So,
Shout out to diabetes.
Medical condition.
Three-way loss.
Fair enough. Is that your answer?
Yeah,
You're going on the record?
Yeah, so.
All right, we'll round out with a few final questions here. God, there's so many. People love you guys. This one's pretty funny. This one I've asked for a couple weeks now. If you had to do the thing where you like sneak into a place, like one person on shoulders, a big trench coat, to appear as one person, which two of you guys do you think would do that best? Like on shoulders, trench coat, pretending to be one person.
You mean
I think Sam could be the talker on the top. He could be the guy at the top, like,
For
hello
sure.
there.
Hello. I seem to have misplaced something.
And of course, either Harry or Biggie.
To support me.
You're gonna be very tall.
A solid foundation.
I mean, we could just get.
Let's
Biggie
say it's
for
like a
that.
serious thing. Like if you get caught, say you're like trying to sneak into like the Super Bowl, and if you get caught, you get arrested. Like you got to be serious, and you gotta make it in.
I think I could perform under
I'd
pressure.
say it's either Sam or Ben to be like the speaker on top.
Yeah.
I think I could lie pretty well.
I couldn't.
No.
That's my biggest weakness.
Just a good
is I'm
Christian
such
guy,
a-
man.
Such a good, honest human.
It's a good job interview question. What's your
Yeah,
biggest weakness?
I
I'm
just can't lie. I'm too honest.
perfectionist.
Who's the base in this scenario? Do we ever determine a base?
Harry or Biggie, I think, just a solid foundation.
Fair enough.
So-
I can't be, if I'm being serious, I can't be
I
wobbling
can't
around.
be getting wobbled around.
Right.
Harry might give it a couple wobbles.
Gets in trouble.
All right, a couple more. Who's the most responsible / irresponsible for scrim blocks? I would assume that means like attending them on time and not making them.
That's definitely me.
We're gonna have a team
That's definitely me.
breakup. Harry is extremely responsible for being on time, making the game, trying to get us into a party. It's definitely Harry for just like day by day being on time every day.
The thing is, though, right, like, if you take it from a bird's eye point of view here, like, I would argue that, like, how much ranked you play, like, how much you think about the game, like, that's really what scrims are, and I would like to take that
Is he
mental.
preemptively defending himself here?
To be fair, I actually kind of agree with Sam that maybe with the actual scrims themselves and like coming to scrims with ideas of how like you want to change or try stuff out, I think maybe the most professional is Sam.
But I also don't turn up before, until about 5 minutes before.
Yeah, except he's woken up at 12:55 again or 10:55 if it's at 11.
Yeah.
And,
But I don't like, I'm not like, I'm alert when I wake up. It's just like, I'm not a lazy guy, but I just,
I mean, you're there, right? Just in the nick of time sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, well, then maybe that feeds into what will be our last question, and that is, who has the best and worst ideas during picks and bans?
I think I might be up there.
For best or worst?
Definitely the worst. I've suggested a few Giannis solos, some Magni solo.
for Harry's role specifically,
Yeah.
he's pretty good with other roles, like not having bad ideas. But for his role specifically,
I call
honestly,
that confidence, right?
I think this guy doesn't know how solo lane
I have
works.
got so many clips. My favorite clip that I've got somewhere is we were playing against Dragons at the start of this year, and I think they just picked like Cesano or something. And Harry's like about to pick his solo. He's like, "Oh, I think I'll play Giannis solo here." He's like, "This is Cesano." And he's like, "Why did we ban Cesano?" It's just we also had a few games cancelled on because of a few of Harry's ideas, but
Some selective picks.
I mean, they knew what Agni thought top 3 picks were not. They weren't enough.
And none of them were going mid. So
For what it's worth, I'd die to see a Giannis solo in an SPL match. So
I'd love to play.
I was gonna say, don't say that, please.
it will
we saw
happen.
Giannis support, right?
Maybe we
That
shouldn't
match-
have, but
that was-
We did
equally as
see
trolling.
that
Equally as
play.
my
It was in the game.
We did sadly see it.
Yeah.
All right, so variety maybe up there on both potentially. I lied. This will be the last question. Clearly, you guys are the best team in the league. Who do you see as your biggest competition moving forward?
Overall team or just like the player?
I would say overall team. Which team do you think gives you guys a run for your money?
A hard one.
I think
The
Titans.
thing is,
Titans of
the
the life.
Vikings had a bit of a stinker. I feel like you can never really count them out. I think they'll always come back. They'll always find a good meta picks, and they'll always be really good at the meta picks. So.
Yeah, it's kind of role syndrome for me, but I just think Panatom is like by far the most consistent jungler in the league, and when I play against him, he makes the least like mistakes and weird like plays compared to every other team for me, it's like I know who I'm against is someone I can respect, who's not going to make like a lot of mistakes, and if he's making plays, it's winning his team the game rather than losing his team the game. So for me, it's always going to be Leviathans until Panatom's not, like until he maybe slumps or something. Sure. So it's Leviathans.
Everyone else?
And they've got good
I'm
confident
between
laners
Leviathans
too.
and Titans.
I just think it's Titans. I don't think it's Leviathans.
I feel like every time we play Titans, it's always like a really tough set. Minus the last time, but usually it's always like a pretty well thought out battle. So.
Hard to say this year. It's a competitive league. Appreciate you guys sitting down and answering all the craziness that people had to ask on Twitter. Appreciate everyone for asking questions on Twitter. These were the Camelot Kings. This was their team check-in. Stick around, more content coming up.
Hey, wait, what did it win?
You win the respect.
You're telling me an alien wore this?
Perfect. Okay, that was a good cut.
Messaging him to mute.
The best graphics you really need, Ultra, of course, and I can probably watch a stream on the side.
Content's gonna look good.
Pretty good.